Hello straight people, so we're going to have a little chat. It's necessary, it's needed.
Hi, I'm Hanifah, I identify as queer.
Hi, I'm Tom, I'm 25, I identify as gay.
Hi, I'm Ayesha, I identify as a queer woman.
I am Sam, I am gay, a gay man, and also genderqueer, gender fluid.
So I've noticed a few things. Obviously, I'm around a lot of straight people. I talk to a lot of straight people in my day-to-day life. And these are just a few little things that I've picked up on and noticed.
Now, I say all of these things out of love. I say these things because I would like you to stop doing them.
And I think it's time we address them, really.
Staring at us when we're holding hands. It took me a really long time to come to terms with the fact that like holding hands or showing affection in public is a political statement.
If I am walking along the street and holding hands with a man, just please don't stare at me. We see you, we know you're doing it, we know you're staring at us. Just let us hold hands and it not be a thing.
Okay, couples, if your relationship is stale, I can promise you almost exclusively that no lesbian wants to join you for a threesome. Like, that's maybe what you want, but I'm pretty sure that's not what the women want. So, come on, just spice up your relationship some other way.
Stop making a joint profile for yourself and then trawling queer women's dating profiles, asking them if they want a threesome. I don't know where this came from or why it seems to be a thing that you think that we want to do. Please stop doing it.
Like, that's not the way to do it. Nobody wants that, it's annoying, go away.
Asking really personal sexual questions as if it's not wildly inappropriate. Like, I've had a situation where one of the first things that a person said to me is, "Are you a top or a bottom?" And I'm like, I don't know. How'd you like to get pounded out on the weekend, Glenda?
If you meet me and or my boyfriend, there's no need to ask who's the tunnel and who's the train. Just FYI, because it's like super crass.
I will get a whole load of like probing questions about me, and it'll be like, oh, how did your parents react?
Wow, you and your family, how did they deal with that? Like I freaking committed a crime or something. Like I didn't rob a bank, I'm just living life.
It's just A, very personal. Like, imagine if I do have a bad reaction, then why on earth would I want to tell you, a stranger I just met? B, it's really offensive that you assume that they are just going to have this terrible reaction to it. You don't know my life, you literally just met me.
As a gay man, I'm not actually attracted to all men. That's just not the case. Not all men are attractive to me, a gay man.
The whole, you know, I know you're gay, so like, don't try it on with me. And I'm like, you're safe, buddy. Honestly, no concern of that happening.
Sometimes when I meet straight women is that they will then assume that I'm almost like willing to like experiment with them or like want to try something with them, and that I must be interested because I'm queer, so therefore I must fancy them.
I went to a friend's birthday party and then this girl found out that I wasn't straight, and then she was just like on it, and it's like just because I'm not straight doesn't mean I fancy you. Most, like 90% of the time, I do not fancy you.
Another really weird one is when people will say something like, "You're the funniest gay guy I know." And it's like, I know your life. I'm the funniest person you know, full stop. Like, it's this really weird way of like watering down a compliment by like reminding you that they see you like in a box.
A lot of people have an image in their head of what a queer person is. So I think people need to get their head around that there's no like one way to not be straight. Like there's people that only ever wear pink and dresses and they're gay as hell, you know? There's guys that love football, gay. It's like, you know, open your mind up a bit. People have different interests.
A lot of women tend to ask me about their outfits and their fashion, and I'm like, how would I know anything about that?
There's a weird one where people assume gay people are well dressed just because they're gay. If you go to a gay club and have like a survey and look around, you'll immediately realize that that definitely is not true. Having said this, there are some stereotypes that are true.
I feel like a lot of straight people memes about relationships are really mean. Like a lot of queer people memes are so wholesome and cute. It's just memes which are like really silly, but are not very funny, but they're adorable. It's just like, I love my girlfriend and stuff like that, which is adorable. And then I just often see like really like weird straight people memes that are like, it seems like you hate each other, and I guess it's the joke. It's like, ugh, this one again. But it's like, I don't know, maybe try some cute memes too.
Guys, why do you act like spending time with your girlfriend is a prison sentence? Like, if you don't want to date them, don't date them. Got to spend time with the missus today. The old ball and chain wants to hang out. Like, you chose that lifestyle. That is your ball and chain. Like, deal with it. Enjoy it.
Gender reveal parties. I'm just gonna leave that one there.
If you're straight and you want to go to Pride, gay Pride, trans Pride, whatever, go, don't go, not a big deal. What is troubling is when you get straight people being like, oh, do I belong there? Should I go? It's just like, I don't care. It's not about you. It's just not about you. So at the end of the day, no one cares.
When straight people are in queer spaces, including Pride, sometimes you're just like you're a little bit too present. The support is great, but also remember that you're a guest, you know? You don't need to be the loudest person in the room. Just be the support. Don't be the overwhelming majority.
You shouldn't be there at the expense of queer people, gay people, and you're a guest. Like, that's the T.
This is not all of you for sure, but I have seen people put ally in the acronym. Ally does not belong in the acronym. Allies are not an oppressed group. The A can stand for asexual, but not ally. Ally is like, you support us, but you're not the people who are oppressed, you're not the people in the community, you are like supporters of the community, so just keep that in mind.
One of my favourite ones is when straight artists will cover a song by an artist of a different gender and change the pronouns so that it doesn't sound gay.
When people find out that you're not straight, and then they're like, do you know what? I've always felt like I was a bit not straight. I think I might be gay. I always had this feeling. So what did you do? And it's like, I'm not a counsellor, man. Like, that's your business. We're not friends like that.
I don't really want to like figure that out with you. I can send you some links to some resources.
But do you know what? Like, my life isn't a teaching moment. Do you know?
Straight boys don't care about their underwear, and that makes me sad for their girlfriends.
Also, a lot of people are like, wow, the people around you are so accepting, they're so good. And it's like, nah, they're just not bigots.
Straight people think cocktails are girly. They're not, they just taste better.
So often me and my boyfriend will be called like a cute couple, which is super, super nice. When you're around queer people, the best thing to do is to kind of just be normal about everything, because like being extra, it feels false. You don't have to give queer people special treatment because they've come out of their house as a couple and they're so brave. Like,
so I don't get this one very often for obvious reasons, but when people say something along the lines of, oh my god, I never would have known you were gay, as if it's some kind of like compliment, like the subtext being that like being straight acting is better, or that our behaviour is like based around like pleasing or like deceiving you.
A lot of TV writers are obviously straight because they have the one token gay character who's like, yes! And they come on, be gay, and then just leave. We want developed storylines. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm a character, I'm queer. How does the world see me? How will I face the day, me, again? Like, you know, it's not always that deep. Like, it's not everyday Stonewall. Like, you can just live a regular life. Also, they only ever seem to have straight friends, which just isn't how the world works. You mix with people who you have things in common with.
I often get a lot of questions about trans issues, being trans, the experience of being trans, but I'm not trans. So just remember that the LGBTQ community is not just one homogenous thing, it's lots of different identities. And you can ask the gay person their perspective on trans issues, but you're not asking a trans person when you do that. So, you know, don't expect the most authentic, well-rounded answer, because that's not their experience just as much as it's not yours.
Another thing to stop doing is assuming people's sexuality when you first meet them. I think just being asked like, oh, like what's your boyfriend do, or like what's your boyfriend's name, it always then has that awkward moment where you then have to correct them. I mean, it's not a big deal, obviously, it could be way worse, but I'm just saying, like, it doesn't have to be that awkwardness, because then there's a weird like, oh, I'm so sorry, I didn't know, and it's like this awkward moment, and it's like we could just save and avoid all of that by just like asking a bit of a different question in the first place.
Like, when you meet people, don't assume that they're straight just because that's your default. That's not the default for the world. Like, there are so many different sexualities, so many different genders, and not everybody is the same as you. So it's not like shock horror when you find out that they're not straight.
In the LGBTQ communities, you're always coming out, like all the time whenever you meet a new person. So, you know, if you meet someone and you don't know anything about them, just don't assume they're straight, because they might not be.
It's a really simple thing to do and makes a world of difference. So yeah, do that.
Of course, this is just a bit of fun. It's Pride Month, and these are some things that if you want to seem less like a clueless straight person, maybe listen up. Happy Pride!
If you're queer or LGBT, let us know down in the comments below. What are some things that annoy you? What are some things that you wish that people would stop doing? Share your experiences with us. We're listening. And happy Pride Month, everybody.